Welcome students. So today we will cover the capacitive element based sensors. Okay. Basically we will cover two sensors. One is capacitive element based sensors and another is your LVDT, that I have already told you, that is linear variable differential transformer. Okay, after completing these two sensors we will cover up the complete second unit. Then we will move to the third unit, that is your actuators. Okay, so in the upcoming lectures we will start the actuators, that is mechanical and electrical. So let's start. The remaining topic is your capacitive element sensors. Okay, so capacitive element based sensors. So actually the capacitive element based sensors is a non-contact type sensors. Okay, and its working principle is it is used to measure the linear displacement, and very small linear displacement means it can be in the form of few millimeters, okay, to 100 millimeters. Okay, I have already studied, I have already told you the linear measurement can be done in terms of potentiometer. Okay, one is a linear potentiometer and another one is your angular potentiometer, but here the linear displacement is in the form of very few millimeters. Okay, that's why you are using capacitive element based sensors. Okay, so let me draw the figure. Suppose this is a plate okay, and this is another plate. Okay, and in between these two plates the dielectric is filled. Okay, there is dielectric. Okay, let me complete the figure. Okay, here the dielectric is filled. Okay, so these are conductive plates. These are conductive plates. Okay, let this area is A. Okay, A is the area of overlap and this is called your dielectric. And let this distance is small d. Okay, if there is a dielectric, so it has a permittivity of epsilon. Okay, so you know the formula of capacitance, that is C is your epsilon A upon D. Okay, and you know the formula for epsilon will be, it is epsilon r into epsilon naught. And what is epsilon naught? It is the permittivity of the free space, and this epsilon r, it is the permittivity, means it is a relative permittivity. Okay, and what is A? It is the area of overlap, and D means it is the distance between two conductive plates. Okay, so this is the basic definition of capacitance. So what is the structure? Let's discuss the structure. Structure means generally this capacitive element based sensors consist of three plates. Okay, let me draw you for you. So this is plate number 1, this is plate number 2, and this is plate number 3. Plate number 2 and this is plate number 3. Okay, and all the plates are equally spaced, having distance d, and the dielectric is filled in between the plates. Okay, so it consists of 3 plates. Okay, where this is the upper plate and this is the lower plate, where the upper pair forming one capacitor means जैसे कि यहाँ पे देखो, this is a one conductive plate, this is one another conductive plate having dielectric medium in between them, so it consists of a one capacitor. So similarly, if there is dielectric is filled in plate number 1 and plate number 2, so this pair 1 and 2 pair will your one capacitor, and similarly suppose this is dielectric field in between plate 2 and 3, so this 2 and 3 pair will be your another pair. Okay, means another capacitors. Okay, so there will be 2 capacitors here we are finding. Actually what happens, the second plate is connected to the object whose linear displacement that we have to measure. Okay, means it is connected to the movable object. Okay, if I am drawing this, so plate number 1 and plate number 2 becomes one capacitor, that is your C1, and plate number 2 and plate number 3 creates your another capacitor, that is your C2, and this is your movable object. Okay, are you clear up to this? So generally, so जो linear displacement हम लोग करेंगे, it can takes place in 2 different ways. Okay, so first way is your either you move plate number 2, because plate number 2 is connected to the object whose linear displacement we have to calculate. So what are different ways to measure? Either you change the position of plate number 2 in upward direction or in downward direction. Okay, ये पहला मेथड हो गया. और second method is your either you displace the plate number 2 in horizontal direction or in right hand side direction or in left hand side direction. Okay, so what happens? So there are 2 ways. When one of the plates, means plate number 2, is moved by a displacement so that the plate separation changes. If it will go, suppose this plate will move upward direction, then the gap changes. Okay, means gap changes means the value of C will change. Why? Because C is equal to epsilon into A by D. Epsilon is a constant, so C depends on area and area of overlap and distance between 2 plates. If the plate number 2 moves upward or downward direction, then D will change, means D will change means automatically capacitance will change. Okay, so this is one way. And another way is your when the area of overlap changes due to the displacement. Suppose the plate number 2 displacement right hand side, देखो यहाँ पे क्या था, टोटल एरिया क्या था, ए था. अगर ये आगे थोड़ा सा खिसक जाएगा तो एरिया ऑफ ओवरलैप विल बी चेंज्ड. अगर ए चेंज हो जाएगा तो ऑटोमेटिकली सी विल ऑल्सो चेंज. ओके, सो लेट मी ड्रॉ यू वन मेथड इज योर. So this is plate number 1. Okay, so let this is the initial position of plate number 2 and this is plate number 3. Okay, plate number 1, plate number 2, plate number 3. Suppose this moves upward direction. Okay, upward direction. Let the initial distance between plate 1 and 2 are D and D. Okay, let it moves upward as a distance x. Acha, so this distance will be d1 minus x. Why? Because initial distance was d, it moves x distance upward, so the remaining distance will be d1 minus x, and this distance, the downward distance will be, initial was d, it moves upward x, so it will be let d2 plus x. ओके, जितना ऊपर जाएगा उतना, जितना ऊपर में माइनस होगा उतना नीचे में प्लस हो जाएगा. ठीक, इट इज वन ऑफ द मेथड. एंड सेकंड मेथड इज योर लेट द प्लेट शिफ्ट्स टुवर्ड्स राइट. द प्लेट शिफ्ट्स टुवर्ड्स राइट. सपोज द प्लेट शिफ्ट्स टुवर्ड right hand side direction. So here the area of overlap is your this portion only. Okay, this portion only. Let it moves 50%, means area of overlap will be half. Okay, so you know C is epsilon into A by D. If A changes, so automatically C will change. Clear? Okay. So when the plate number 2 moves upward direction, then in this case, so C1 will be, okay, C1 will be this C1 will be epsilon into A whole divided by D. What is D? This is D1 minus X, and C2 will be epsilon into A divided by D2 plus X. As the area of overlap remains same, so only distance changes. Okay, C1 C2 changes. Okay. So second case, when the plate 2 shifts right hand side, so in second case, so C1 will become, it will epsilon naught into A1, because area of overlap changes but the distance remains same. Okay, let it is D1, and C2 will be epsilon into A2 whole divided by D2. Okay, so our aim is to find the value of C1 and C2 first. So first find the value of C1 and C2, and then you connect this C1 and C2 to the Wheatstone bridge, so that the resultant output voltage will be produced, and that resultant voltage will be in the proportion of the displacement. Okay, so output voltage will be proportional to the displacement x. Okay, जो हमको चाहिए. ठीक है. So how to connect, you know very well. The connection can be in series and it can be in parallel. If I am doing the series connection, okay, so for series connection, this is one capacitor C1, this is another capacitor C2. So the equivalent capacitance will be 1 by C equivalent will be 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2, and for parallel connection, okay, let this is one capacitor C1, it is another capacitor C2. Okay, so the equivalent capacitance will be just addition of C1 and C2. Clear? Either you connect the capacitors in series connection or in parallel connection. Okay, after connected to the Wheatstone bridge, you will get the ultimately the voltage output, and that voltage output voltage will be in the proportion to the displacement. Displacement of what? Displacement of the object that we are interested to finding out. Okay, so clear? So this is all about your capacitive element based sensors. Okay, next we will go to the LVDT, that is your linear variable differential transformer. Okay, so look here students. So now we will study about the LVDT, means linear variable differential transformer. Okay, so what is the use of this LVDT? So it is used for the measurement of linear displacement, as in case of capacitive transducers, okay, or capacitive element based sensors. So let's first look out what are the structure of LVDT. Okay, let me draw the figure first. Okay, okay, so basically it has 3 coils which are symmetrically spaced. देखो, सो यहाँ पे दिख रहा है तुम लोग को एक कॉयल है, दिस इज अनदर कॉयल, दिस इज अनदर कॉयल, देयर आर 3 coils which are equispaced. Okay, they are symmetrical spaced along an insulated tube. Okay, this system is placed incorporated in an insulated tube. Okay, this is the central coil and these are the side coils. The central coil is known as your primary coil. Okay, it is your primary coil. I am denoting it as P, and these two are called secondary coils. Let this is first secondary coil S1, this is second number, that is S2. Okay, and these two secondary coils are connected in series, and one more thing, in between there is a magnetic iron that is placed. Okay, so it is a magnetic core, and this magnetic core is actually connected to the object whose linear displacement you have to measure. Okay, समझ में आ गया क्या कहानी है? So basically it consists of a 3 coils which are symmetrically spaced, one primary coil and 2 secondary coils. Okay, and this whole system is placed in a insulated tube, and the central coil is this central coil is your primary coil, and these are 2 secondary coils, and these 2 secondary coils are connected in series in such a way that their outputs will always oppose to each other. That's why these are connected in series. Okay, and one more thing, there is a magnetic core is attached to the object of which the displacement you have to measure, and that is placed inside the insulated tube. Up to this, I think the situation is clear. Next we will go to the working principle. Okay, so its working principle is just like this, very simple. Let this is your primary coil, input voltage, you are supplying AC voltage. Okay, so this is your primary coil, I am writing as P. Okay, here one secondary coil, that is your suppose S1, and here another secondary coil, that is your suppose S2, and in primary and secondary there is a magnetic core. Let this is the magnetic core. Now look here, magnetic core can move in right hand side direction or it can move in left hand side direction. Okay, here it can move in either in upward direction or in downward direction. Okay, only one way direction, either go upward or go downward. Now currently the magnetic core is placed at the center for reference position. Okay, so here from S1 to S2 I will get my output voltage. Okay, and let this is V1, the voltage for S1, and this is V2 for voltage S2. So what happens? Okay, so due to an AC voltage input to the primary coil, the alternating EMF, here the EMF will be generated. Okay, electromotive force are generated in secondary coils, in this secondary coil and this secondary coils. Okay, if you are supplying the AC voltage, the alternating EMF will be generated in S1 and S2. When the magnetic core is centrally placed, okay, for reference, for centrally placed then what happens with its half position in each of the secondary regions, then the resultant voltage is 0. It means suppose my magnetic core is placed in the mid position, means centrally position, the EMF generated will be supplied half to the S1 and half to the S2. And I have already told you recently that S1 and S2 are connected in series, means the EMF generated in S1 and S2 will oppose to each other. If the magnetic core is placed is centrally placed, then let the voltage is created for S1 is V1 and the voltage is created for S2 is V2. Now V1 and V2 will be equal because it is placed in central position. Now the resultant voltage V1 and V2 will cancel each other and the resultant voltage at the output will be 0. Okay, this is the situation where the magnetic core is at the mid position, means there is no displacement of the object, means object is in rest position. If the object moves, then actually what happens, the magnetic core is connected to the object. If the object moves, then either the magnetic core moves in upward direction or downward direction. Let suppose the magnetic core moves in upward direction. If it moves in upward direction, the measure the maximum voltage will be supplied to what, which coil, S1, and the minimum voltage will be supplied to, will be created here, S2. Means now in this case V1 is more and V2 is less, and the output, resultant output will be V1 minus V2, means you will get delta V. Okay, let it moves downward direction, the more voltage will be produced in S2 and less voltage will be produced in S1, means now the difference of output will be automatically delta V. So delta V is now this output voltage that is proportional to my displacement that I want to measure. Okay, so clear. So I am saying again, if the core is displacement from the central position, then there is a resultant voltage from the coils, and if the magnetic core is further displaced, then the value of the resultant voltage increases, and that is in the proportion with the displacement. Okay, so up to this we have completed the different types of sensors and our second unit. Okay, in the next upcoming classes we will start the actuators. Okay, thank you.